All right, this is going to be part 2, and this again is Frank DeMore from the Last Chronicles of Planet Earth. And if you want to see part 1, you can go right to my site, BibleProphecyMan.com, and you can get there and download my book for free while you're there. And so I'm going to pick up where I left off, I should say, where Obama was showing you how Obama is stabbing Israel in the back, and now I want to show you that, but also why he's stabbing Israel in the back, as we see by his actions. The Lord in the Old Testament shows us that anybody that messes around with Israel in the last days is, number one, we see it in Genesis 12:3, is going to have a curse put on them. And number 2, in Joel chapter 3, verse 2, we see that anybody who comes against his people will be destroyed in this scripture. And as you see, it says, whom they have scattered among the nations and parted my land. And obviously Barack Obama has been trying to part Israel into giving the Palestinians their own land and making East Jerusalem their capital. And so this is part of the stabbing of Israel in the back. When he says that I have your back, that's really a knife in it. And of course Zechariah tells us that all the people in the last days will be coming against Israel, so we know that that would also include the United States. And this is one of the reasons why I believe you got the right man in the office of the presidency of the United States, because he is definitely the president who's made more gestures turning away from Israel than any president that we've ever had. Now, what I wanted to show you is that there's a timeline here about the curse. And in my book, you'll see the curse of God. And what I've done there is I've been outlining over the course of years, when somebody comes against Israel, what happens to them. You can see God's curse falling on the people, the leaders, and the countries that the nations are coming against Israel. So this is another one of those issues that I'm going to be putting in my book, and I wanted to give you the first glance at it here at my YouTube channel. So keep this date right here, March the 23rd, in mind, because this is going to be a significant date surrounding, as you see, the evidence that I give to you about the curse that's coming. Now, in a report, I put this: something is weird happening in Clintonville. Now, in Wisconsin, there is a city called Clintonville. And obviously, you'll see Clinton, Secretary of the State, Hillary Clinton, her last name is embedded in Clintonville. So just keep that in mind. You'll see where I'm going with it. So it says, something weird is happening in Clintonville. What? Earthquakes. On the very day U.S. Secretary of State Hillary Clinton allows U.S. military aid to Egypt to continue despite Cairo's failure to meet pro-democracy conditions for Israel, Clintonville, the city in Wisconsin, was hit by these strange earthquakes. Okay? Is God again showing us something major is going to happen to the U.S.? Well, that's a good question, because just about every time somebody comes against Israel and makes moves against God's people, something happens to that nation. Now, if you read again in chapter 15 of my free book, you will read all the events that have happened on the very day or within a week that someone has come against Israel. Israel is Egypt's. Get this now, please. This is going to be very important. Israel is Egypt's #1 enemy. And now the U.S. is giving military aid to the nation that is calling for the destruction of Israel. And of course, I said that I'll be watching the news for the next days to see what happens. Well, guess what? After I wrote that, there was these earthquakes that started in Clintonville. And I'm going to, again, go you through a series of articles to show you, is this a warning? I mean, it it took me back when I saw these strange earthquakes hitting Clintonville. The person who allocated the arms of over $1 billion to Israel's enemy. So let's go and take a look at all this information. All right. And of course I said, what has happened since Hillary is allowing Israel's enemy U.S. military aid to Egypt. So let's get to the first article. I think you're going to find this very interesting. Now this comes from InfoWars. It says the residents skeptical of mini quakes, explanation for Clintonville booms. Now this article came on the same day as Hillary Clinton gave or green-lighted this money to the military of Egypt, Israel's enemy. So we know that the purse is flowing. It says the USGS says that 1.5 earthquake hit town on Tuesday, but reports of booms came in over 24 hours beforehand. So before the issue of the green light to Egypt's military, these booms started to come in Clintonville. Then it goes on to say, the city officials claim the mystery of Clintonville booms is solved with the U.S. Geological Survey announcement that the town experienced a series of mini earthquakes, but residents remain skeptical, and you're going to see why. And probably with good reason. The 1.5 magnitude earthquake occurred over 24 hours after reports of the booms first started to flood in, noises which were also heard in a town 80 miles away. So keep in mind they started 24 hours before, and it's showing you here after the reports. So we're going in just before March 23rd is when they actually stopped. And this becomes very important when you'll see how this all comes to conclusion here in a second. But the article go on to say that this was really unusual because nobody feels earthquakes like Clintonville has been feeling these earthquakes at a 1.5, because that's almost, I mean, that's really, really small, but there's been quakes coming like crazy. It says the saga, which has captured a national attention, began on Sunday night when the police received a deluge of reports about strange booming noises that were described as sounding like underground fireworks, thunder, or something slamming a heavy door. And for the subsequent 4 nights, the booms continued to be reported, howbeit a lesser extent, prompting a town hall meeting and the promise of local officials to find the cause. Now, they came up with the cause. They said, wow, we're having earthquakes. And then they said that, well, great, we explained these earthquakes, and now that we know that there is, you know, well, at least we know what it is. And so they had stopped. The earthquakes had stopped. And so let's go back to my site. Wait for it to load here for a second. So we see this first article. Now we're going to go to the second article. And you'll see, as I'm going to tie these things in, it'll become clear to you why I'm bringing this information. Because on the 21st, a week before, or 5 days before these earthquakes started to hit Clintonville, guess what? There was a news report that said Egypt designates Israel's its top enemy. Obama restores military aid. Now that they held the aid, we had the report on the 21st, but there was a report that said they held the aid, and then on the 25th, Hillary Clinton released those funds, and so that's the significance of the 25th of March. Now listen to this. It says Egypt's parliament, which is dominated by 2 pre-Shia Islamic supremacist groups, the Muslim Brotherhood and the Salafists, voted unanimously last Monday to expel Israel's ambassador to Egypt and signaled that the Camp David Accords would soon be a thing of the past. Egypt, the parliamentarians declared, would never be Israel's allies. In fact, Israel was Egypt's #1 enemy. So you have Hillary Rodham Clinton giving Egypt military funds to go in the hands of a military that are Israel's enemies, number one enemy. So you see that the curse has definitely fallen on America. Now look, they did this on the 21st. And how did Barack Obama respond to the egregious trampling upon the agreement that was kept, an uneasy peace? There you go. I'm going to bring this up so you can see it. Uneasy peace between Israel and Egypt for 30 years by announcing a resumption of military aid to Egypt. And so, yes, we have on the March the 31st, get rid of this, March on the 21st, excuse me, Israel declares that they're an enemy of Israel. All right, now let me go to another article, and we'll just go to here. I don't know why it wanted to divert us, but we'll do it that way. This was 3 days earlier, or right 3 days ago. It says, U.S. State Hillary Clinton gave the green light Friday. That was Friday. To resume $1.3 billion in annual military aid to Egypt, despite fears that it's slipping in the avowed transition to democracy. The move marked a denouncement of a crisis in the 30-year-old U.S.-Egyptian alliance that erupted over the crackdown in December on the pro-democracy groups and Egypt's interim military rulers. Today, Secretary Clinton has certified to the Congress that Egypt is meeting its obligations under its peace treaty with Israel. And I just showed you that on May 21st, only 5 days ago, that Egypt said that Israel's the number one enemy and they would never be an ally. And so what she's saying here is obviously the untruth. And that's coming from the Egyptian parliament, who declared Israel the number one enemy just 5 days ago. So it says the State Department spokesman Victoria Nuland said in a statement, the movie clears the way for $250 million in economic aid this year, which has not been in a serious question. The Secretary, let me move it up here. The Secretary has also waived legislative conditions related to Egypt's democratic transition on the basis of America's national security interests. America's national, they don't care about Israel apparently, because they're giving their enemies, Egypt, money to buy arms that will eventually be used against Israel in that Psalm 83 war, allowing for the continued flow of foreign military financing to Egypt. All right, so we have Hillary Rodham Clinton giving. Let me go over here. We'll go right to my site again. We have Hillary Rodham Clinton getting money to Egypt and helping to flow the curse. And we also found that there was a definite lie in there, because Egypt did not fill the requirements. They hate Israel. They claimed the number one enemy. So let's go on here. Now, the day, I want to show you something, that the day that the green light was given, or the day after, excuse me, because she gave the green light on March the 23rd. The green light to let those funds go through. All right. Now back to Clintonville. There you go. Clinton's name is in that Clintonville, and I think God is sending a message. Boom, ground shaking returns to Clintonville Friday. So just before Clinton let these funds go, there was some strange things going on in Clintonville. Earthquakes. And when you do YouTube Google, you'll see that the ground has moved up about 3 inches in many cases, and the people show you this. So the day after she releases the funds, the shaking start again in Clintonville. Let's see what it says. Clintonville residents say the booming and shaking returned on Friday night, the same day as those funds were released. Police say that there were 10 reports of booming and shaking at 8:30 p.m. to 10:30 p.m. on Friday. Authorities also say that they got 2 reports after midnight. And on Thursday, the U.S. Geological Survey confirmed a 1.5 magnitude earthquake hit the city in Wakaipa County around 12:15 a.m. And geological experts say that loud booming noises can accompany an earthquake. So here we go. The earthquakes have returned the day after. Now, this becomes significant because, obviously there's something very, very strange going on. And you'll see that let me go to this site right here. This is from AccuWeather.com. And you'll notice that on the 24th, the day after, let me close this window, sorry about the pop-ups. The day after she gave the funds to Israel's enemy, part of the curse, guess what? Huge storms, severe storms, deadly tornadoes struck Ohio Valley. Tornadoes ripped through 6 states, from Missouri to Georgia Friday, killing 1 and leaving destruction in their wake. The lower Ohio Valley hit hard by a large outbreak earlier this month bore the worst of the severe weather, with at least a half-dozen twisters touching down throughout the afternoon. So we have some major problems, and not only did you have major problems, but you're going to see that they had some weather like they have never seen. I mean, it is unbelievable. This is hail. I mean, it's not snow, it is hail. And they've had, you'll see here, it says the Weather Service storm surveyors have already declared damage from 2 tornadoes, one in Troy, Alabama, and the other one in Heritage Creek, Kentucky. And let me get here. It says this was the actual site that they took the photos of this hail on it. But let me go down here. You'll see the isolated tornadoes, damage, severe. This happened right after the money was released. And get this, I'm going to play this for you.
From the AccuWeather.com global headquarters, I'm meteorologist Andrew Baglini with your latest weather snapshot. A storm system moving through southern Illinois Friday afternoon produced hail, funnel clouds, and several reports of tornado touchdowns. Damage has been reported in Jackson County, including uprooted trees and a barn that was completely destroyed. Damage and injuries were also reported in Jefferson County. The Jefferson County Sheriff's Department reported that a tornado caused 1 confirmed death and 2 injuries. The 60-year-old victim was in a trailer that was blown across the road and rolled several times.
All right, so you see that massive storms coming in, tornadoes, and this wasn't all of it. Let me go back and give you another look here. Check this out. Virginians, Carolinas, asking, what the hell? And again, this comes right after. I mean, it started on the 25th, went on to the 26th, right after the monies were released and the curse. These are products of the curse. Despite temperature in the 60s and the 70s, it looked like the middle of the winter in parts of the southeast on Saturday. No, it wasn't snow, but hail that covered the ground up to 6 inches deep in some communities on Saturday from southwestern Virginia to South Carolina. And responsible for the chaos were severe thunderstorms in association with a large storm system packed with plenty of cold air in the upper levels of the atmosphere. The cold air helped to generate hail, and plenty of it. in most of the thunderstorms that form during the afternoon and the evening hours. Now look at this. These hailstones, when you see from the Storm Prediction Center, compiled 80 reports of hail from Saturday ranging from an inch quarter size to 2 3/4 of an inch in diameter, baseball size. We're getting into pretty big hailstones. I mean, so let's go down and see. Look, take a look at this picture here. This is hail. This isn't snow. This is packed in hail. Here's some more shots of it. And there's a video on the internet where it shows the hail coming down. And look what this hail did. I mean, it's got pretty bad. Now I'm going to play this video for you. You want to mess around with Israel, do you? You want to try to split up Israel? You want to say that you have Israel's back, but yet you give Israel's enemy weapons that will be used against them? This is what happens. People should take note. Now in my book, please go to my book, because in my book I outline again for you the events that have taken place over the years, who said what, when they said it, and then I give you the proof that God's curse has fallen on those people who have come against Israel. And you will be amazed. And it goes on and on and on, and it's not a coincidence. So in this particular case, you have, it looks to me like God was sending a message to the United States through the person who sent the arms. I mean, of all the towns around, Clintonville gets nailed with all these weird earthquakes, and then a massive storm breaks out. Tornadoes, hail like they've never seen before. And it's not a coincidence. But you can get all of this information in my book just by going to my website, BibleProphecyMan.com. You'll see this link. Click the link, and that book will come up. So, and keep in mind that it is going to be coming to you for free. Absolutely for free. You won't have to pay anything. I won't ask you for anything. I'm not going to email you asking you that I need some money or anything. I leave all that to the Lord Jesus Christ. All He wanted me to do is to preach the Word. Now I clicked the link, and this is what happened. The book come up. And as you scroll down, you will see that in my book, here's the chapter. Just go to chapter 15, Signs of God's Curse. And you'll see it right here, and it'll outline for you all of those events. So all I could say is take me up on the offer. You will see all of the proof of the last days coming to you, and God's going to come. He is going to come back to earth. He's promised that. And so if He is promising His return, you can believe He will come back. This is why you're seeing all of the prophecies come to pass in the last days. And all I've done is put all of these signs showing that His words have come to pass in my book, The Last Chronicles of Planet Earth. God bless you all. Give your life to the Lord today. Don't wait, please. He's waiting for you to come and save you, but you need to ask Him into your life.